Real-time closures in the North Sea and Skagerrak. The European Fisheries Control Agency promotes the highest common standards for fisheries monitoring, control and surveillance under the Common Fisheries Policy. This video relates to real-time closures in the North Sea and Skagerrak, which are laid down by Regulation 724 of 2010. The regulation concerns the abundance of juvenile cod, haddock, saithe and whiting above a given threshold. EFCA coordinates inspection activities in the framework of the Joint Deployment Plan for the North Sea. In this context, Member States carry out last-haul observations. The Real-Time Closures Regulation for the North Sea and the Skagerrak provides for catch sampling and is part of the Joint Deployment Plan coordinated activities. This forms part of sea inspection procedures. At sea, the inspectors verify the catch of the haul to identify the quantities of fish by species and by size, by either examining the whole haul or by taking a representative sample. When it is determined that the haul contains at least 200 kilograms in total of cod, haddock, saithe and whiting, then a real-time closure sample must be taken. The sample also must be a minimum of 200 kilograms of the 4 species. Inspectors should record the quantities of juveniles and adults of each of these species. A juvenile is defined as being a fish below a certain size. Juvenile sizes coincide with the minimum conservation reference sizes in the North Sea, but are larger than the minimum conservation reference sizes for the Skagerrak. What triggers the establishment of a real-time closure? The coastal member state will be required to decide when certain criteria are met. If the sample has equal to or more than 10% of juveniles of cod, haddock, saithe and whiting. However, if the quantity of cod in the sample exceeds 75%, then the trigger is equal or more than 7.5% of juvenile cod, haddock, saithe and whiting. The calculation of these percentages is done individually for each species and as a total of all 4 species. The results of the sampling are recorded by the inspector and are submitted to the competent coastal member state, who then must decide if a real-time closure is established. The regulation sets specific criteria for setting the area to be closed in terms of area and shape. Once the decision is adopted, the coastal member state must communicate it to fishing fleets operating in maritime waters under its jurisdiction and to other member states, third countries, and the European Commission. Fisheries monitoring centres should make vessels operating in the area aware of these RTC. When the trigger level has been reached, the results of RTC samples are published by the member states' authorities on their websites. The links to these pages are also available on the EFCA's website. The RTC comes into effect 12 hours after the member state decision to establish the RTC, and it is applicable for 21 days. Fishing operations taking place in the area will be prohibited, with the exception of pelagic trawls, purse seines, drift nets and jiggers targeting herring, mackerel and horse mackerel, pots, scallop dredges and gill nets. Additionally, EFCA uses the Integrated Maritime Service to provide a real-time picture of the active RTC as assistance to the member states' competent authorities. It also allows for the generation of automatic alerts when a fishing vessel enters the closed area. RTC measures contribute to the effective protection of juvenile fish for a sustainable exploitation of marine resources in line with the objectives of the Common Fisheries Policy.